thoughts, views, and opinions you hear on this show are just that: my thoughts, my views, my opinions. So if you don't like them, disagree with them, or whatever the case may be, well, there's a simple solution to all that, and that's just stop listening. But if you care to partake in the conversation, sit back, turn it up, and enjoy the show. Yeah, that. Welcome back to another episode of the YeahDat podcast, hosted by yours truly, West Coast Roberto. How y'all doing out there? It's been a minute since the last episode, episode 54. We had my homie Mario Bernache on. We talked finance game. New year, new you, new financial you. So, Mario talked about finances, ways that you can improve your finances for the year, improve your credit, your scores, just be financially stable. So if you're interested in that stuff, please check out episode 54, New Year, New Financial You. Everywhere podcasts are played on any podcast platform. Now we're back. Episode 55. How y'all doing out there? Yo, I have been so busy. Last episode was a few weeks ago, and I know I've said this before in the past. My apologies for the inconsistencies when it comes to the podcast. And you know what? I do that mainly because I don't want to provide just some filler episodes, just checks in the box. I don't want to do that. You know what I'm saying? I don't. I want my stuff to be quality, give y'all quality. You know what I mean? But, with life, you get busy. And shit, have I been fucking busy. Oh my goodness gracious. We're in a new month now. You know what I'm saying? January's over. Did January feel long to y'all? I know a lot of people, I've seen a lot of posts talking about January's finally over. It was 85 days long, etc., etc. But how was your January, your new year, 2024? For me, pretty busy. Came back from the holiday vacation just to turn around to fly back to Florida, surprise my daughter. She had a soccer tournament down there in Orlando. Had to go down there. I surprised her. Told her we couldn't make it. I usually go to everything. Either my wife or I will go down, show that support. But if we can't, we make sure family's there to show her that support. You know what I'm saying? It's just all about her being mentally comfortable. Focus. So, tournament down in the greater Orlando area with her team. They drove down on a charter bus, and I flew down on Saturday to surprise her. Stayed with my sister, got to spend some time with my sister and my brother-in-law. It was a great time, as always. My daughter's reaction was great. The team's result, we're not that good. It was great. The team's result, we're not that good. Don't get me started. That's a whole another thing. But my daughter performed as she always does, and that was a good time. Oh, excuse me. But yeah, with that, there was constant travel. This past week, I went and I helped out another ship, another command with their ammunition onload. And for those of you who aren't familiar with the Navy and that term, it's when a command or a ship or whatever the entity is receiving their ammunition for their upcoming deployment or assignment they're about to do. So I spent a week on a new class ship that I've never been on, except for a tour. And I was on there helping them out with their onload, and man, was it tiring. Holy moly. My feet were killing me. There were long days. Really wasn't organized. The whole purpose of us being there is to assist them because they were undermanned, and to use our expertise to help them, provide that knowledge to those stationed on board that ship. Some insight on how the process really works or normally works to make it smoother for future onloads, offloads, etc., etc. So we went on there, and it was long days. Got there at 7 in the morning, didn't leave there till 8:30, 9 o'clock at night for a week. So yeah, pretty tiring. I wanted to drop a podcast episode last week, but wasn't able to due to that. Just got home late, tired, exhausted, just to come home, eat, get an hour or so QT, go to sleep, to do it all over again. But it's part of the job. It's what I do. And, that's how my week's been. So it's been travel, been busy with my daughters and their sports and practices and events, etc. With my stuff on top of that, it's just been very, very grueling. Maintenance issues, appointments with vehicles and homes, and it's been crazy. So not too bad though. You know what I'm saying? Certain aspects were pretty bad, I can do away with, but it is what it is. It's life. It's a part of the simulation we live in, right? YeahDat. But that's how my year's been thus far. We in a whole new month, and it's a leap year this year. So now we get an extra day this month. So for those of you born on a leap year, happy birthday. Happy 4-year increment birthday. Now we're back. Episode 55 of the YeahDat podcast. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening. If you're new to the show, welcome. If you're an OG, avid listener, you already know I got love for y'all for that. Yeah. Shout out to all my people back home in San Diego. I don't know if you all are aware. I'm sure you are, but San Diego has been flooded, and it's crazy to me seeing highlights, seeing the footage and the clips of the floods is nuts to me, because my whole life growing up there, we never suffered or experienced any kind of flooding like that before. So those of you who aren't aware of what's going on, San Diego, California, or Southern California has been experiencing a lot of torrential downpours, a lot of rain. That rain has been causing serious flooding. And like I said, I've never experienced any flooding like that, being from that area and seeing what they've been showing on television is crazy. It's surreal to me. It's to the point to where you see people are on their houses because of water just coming through and tearing up their neighborhoods. People are kayaking or having to swim through the water to get to certain places to look for people. It's just out of this world. It's unreal, surreal. And what's crazy to me is every morning. So I know a lot of people aren't a fan of the news. I like watching the news first. I don't know. I guess it's because I'm getting older or whatever. But I like to stay up to date with current events, local news, and then I'll watch a little bit of national news. It's crazy to me that the flooding in San Diego hasn't been on national news. I've watched several platforms of national news, and they don't cover that. And it's crazy. How do you not cover these floods? I think California it was a state of emergency type deal, but yet it's not covered nationally. But you got other stupid crap that's covered nationally, and that just baffles me. Wow. What? I see why people scrutinize the news all the time, especially the different channels and platforms, because they cover what they want to cover. And I watch a little bit of everything just to get a feel for everything, so I can understand each side of whatever party. So I'll watch a little bit of Fox. I'll watch a little bit of CNN. I'll watch some CBS, some NBC, and MSN, whatever. And I'll just see what they're covering to see if it's the same as other platforms. And it's just it's crazy. And when I do that, that's when I turn the news off and I just go about living my life or whatever. But it's crazy to me that the San Diego floods are not national news, or hasn't been national news, at least where I live. And my condolences to all those out there having to deal with that, and those who have lost property and pets and family members. Condolences go out to you all out there, to all my family and my friends out there, man. Stay safe. And if you need anything, you already know, just reach out. YeahDat. But it's been crazy. 2024, January just ended. January lasted 3 months, and it's finally over. We're in February now. And a lot has gone down, man. You know what I'm saying? A lot has gone down. So I'm not sure if you're aware, Alabama recently executed an inmate with a type of execution that is not common. And it's crazy because this method hasn't been used. Let me be more precise here. Hold on 1 second as I pull it up. Damn, I just had it pulled up, but let me pull it up here for you. Alabama execution with the use of nitrogen gas. Yeah, nitrogen gas. So the state of Alabama executed a man with nitrogen gas. The first time the method has been used this past Thursday. They used nitrogen gas to execute Kenneth Eugene Smith, who was 58. He was pronounced dead at 8:25 p.m. And it's crazy hearing about it, because listen to that time that he passed away at an Alabama prison after breathing pure nitrogen gas through a face mask to cause oxygen deprivation. It marked the first time that a new execution method had been used in the United States since lethal injection, now the most commonly used method, which was introduced in 1982. The execution took 22 minutes from the time between the opening and the closing of the curtains to the viewing room. Smith appeared to remain conscious for several minutes. For at least 2 minutes, he appeared to shake and writhe on the gurney, sometimes pulling against the restraints. That was followed by several minutes of heavy breathing until breathing was no longer visible. In a final statement, Smith said, "Tonight, Alabama causes humanity to take a step backwards. I'm leaving with love, peace, and light." Smith was the inmate that was executed. He made the "I love you" sign with his hands toward family members who were witnesses. "Thank you for supporting me. Love all of you," Smith said. So it's crazy because 22 minutes, they said, took the whole process to start. They started at 8:00 p.m. Local time in Alabama, and he was pronounced dead at 8:25. And reading other articles, it said it took 3 to 4 minutes for him to pass away. So if you think about that, it started at 8:00, 8:25. He was pronounced dead, and it took 3 to 4 minutes. So around 8:21 or whatever time, 8:22, 8:21. So for 3 and some kind of change, homie was just like having to go through this. Now, I know a lot of y'all out there thinking, okay, well, so what? He was on death row. He committed a crime, etc., etc. But I don't know. Like me, I'm all about capital punishment. I'm all about it. Like if you did something so severe to the point where you're on death row, then it's inevitable. Like it's inevitable. You gotta face what you face, right? The reason he was executed the way he was with the nitrogen gas is because they tried doing lethal injection 2 times and homie got out of it. First time his blood pressure was high, so they couldn't do it. Second time they couldn't find a vein, or vice versa. Don't quote me on that, but those are the reasons, therefore causing a different method of execution, which being the nitrogen gas. He almost got out of this one as well, but his lawyers tried to fight it, but the state said no, they're going through with it. But going back to what I was saying, he was on death row for so many years, and then a criminal will sit on death row for 20 years, 30 years before even going through the execution, which our judicial system is so fucking crazy, man. It's like a dude or a person will sit on death row for 20, 30 some years before they can get executed. It's just nuts to me. But with all that being said, for homie to go out like that, I don't know. It was just, the humility in a person comes out when you think about stuff like that. It's like, damn, homie was fucking suffering. But are you wrong for feeling that way? No, you're a human being. At the end of the day, it's a human being, and you feel for that person. But at the same time, what did that person do to get there, to get put in that position? You know what I mean? So, I don't know. It's kind of crazy. I was very interested in that article. I thought it was interesting, and it was just like, damn, you hear about how long it took for them, the person to actually go down. Vice lethal injection isn't as long, and for him to go down and for it to take as long as it took, it was like, damn, homie was suffering. But so condolences to his family, and yeah, it is what it is, I guess you can say. But nitrogen gas, that's nuts. Nitrogen gas. But yeah, another thing. So something else that I've been fucking around with. So TEMU, right? A lot of y'all are familiar with TEMU. If you're not, it's an app. It's like a Shein app. I don't know if you are familiar with Shein. I'm pretty sure you are. Shein being that app that you can order clothes and whatever. And TEMU is this new app. And my daughter, she introduced me to TEMU last year. And I was like, all right, what is this? Because one day she got a bunch of stuff in the mail, and it was from TEMU. And I was like, how did you get that? And she said, oh, I got it for free. And I'm like, how'd you get it for free? And she was like, oh, well, I did the link. I signed up and blah, blah, blah. You got to send the link. And then when people sign up, you get free stuff. And she ended up getting free stuff. And I'm like, okay, they're sending this free stuff. It's all bootleg. Be careful with it. But you know what I mean? It's still going. It's still lasting. So whatever. Excuse me. So I was fucking around with it one day, and I was like, let me go about doing this TEMU stuff. And it was like, oh, you pick 6 items, get 6 items free, or some ridiculous shit. You spin the wheel in the beginning, and it gives you like a coupon or percentage or whatever it is. And the choices on the wheel are 100% off, 50%, 20%, 10%, etc., etc. So I'm spinning. I'm like, yo, I know I'm gonna get this 100%. Boom, missed it on the first time, spin it again, 100%. So I'm going through, I'm picking. And I don't know, you have to, in order to get the stuff, you have to send links to people. And I guess people have to accept the links and then sign up for TEMU to get their stuff or whatever. So after my daughter was messing with it last year, she got probably 2-3 packages of free stuff. And I was like, let me look into that. You know what I mean? Human beings and the word free, it's synonymous with, you know what I mean? It just sends dopamine levels through your brain. I don't know. It just, you hear it. So I'm like, all right, let me try this. Let me try this free stuff. Let's see what it's about. Prior to me, you know what? The reason I started doing, or I tried the TEMU thing again, is because when we were on vacation, I was at my mother-in-law's house, and my mother-in-law was talking about TEMU and how she's on there and she plays the games and gets free stuff and how it's legit. And she mentioned her and her sisters, they would go on, play games, and then get free stuff. And we met like different family members on my wife's side, and they were mentioning that stuff too. So I was like, dang, these more mature women are all about TEMU and stuff like that. So I'm like, what? Let me get on here. So that's what caused me to get on there. So I get on there and I'm going through and I'm clicking all of these things like, all right, boom, bang. I mean, 10 more items. It was like 20 items for free or something, some stuff like that for $200. That's what it was. 20 items for like $200. You had like a $200 window to pick 20 items or some shit like that. So I'm on there and I'm picking my items. All right, some for me, some for my wife, majority for me. So I'm going through. So then I click all the items without everything I wanted, and it's to the part to where it's like, all right, boom, now send the links to 5 people or 3 people or whatever. I get to that point and I'm like, I don't want to be that person. You know what I mean? Sending a link to somebody. Like, what I look like doing that? So I stopped and I bailed out of it or whatever. So I'm just like, TEMU. So what are your thoughts on TEMU? Have y'all done it? Do y'all feel like it's legitimate? Like, what are your thoughts? Me personally, I think it's kind of sketch. Like, I'm not about it. It just, I don't know. There's something about it that's just sketch. And then you're starting to see commercials for TEMU during NFL programming and NFL games. So it's like, this stuff must be legit. So I don't know. Me, I was hesitant. Didn't fall through with it, or didn't go through with it. So I don't know. But if you're out there and you're doing TEMU and you're all about it, just be careful. You know what I mean? Just be careful. Sorry, hold on a second. Replying to my daughter. You know, families first, baby. Families first. But yeah, if you're doing TEMU, just be careful, man. That stuff seems a little too good to be true. Too good to be true. But yeah, another craze thing that's going down that's kind of I don't understand is the whole Stanley Cup thing. Stanley Cups. So my daughter, of course, my youngest daughter, she's all about trendiness and being trendy, etc., etc. So Stanley Cups, does she have one? Of course she does. She had to have one. She bought it herself because I was just like, why? You have all these bottles, these water bottles, your gymnastics water bottles you got from Lululemon. You got a custom one from a Teen Mom. We have Hydro Flask and all that stuff. What's the big deal with the Stanley Cup? Oh, it's a cup with a handle, and a straw. Like, okay, you can get a straw and you can get a handle for your Hydro Flask, whatever. But, you know, of course it's trending. And what's crazy is before the hype, last summer or whenever the hype kicked off in the fall, whenever it was, I seen a video and it was like about selling them on Amazon FBA type deal. And I was like, maybe I should do that. Didn't pull the trigger, and look at it now. Blown up. People are in line fighting, snatching cups up. Crazy. Anyway, the Stanley Cup the Stanley Cup craze. So my daughter has one. When I flew down to Florida to visit my daughter, or to surprise my daughter for her tournament in Orlando, I stayed with my sister. And going into her house, we were talking about the Stanley Cups, and of course she has like 6-7 of them. She even has the exclusive pink one or something that she was waiting. People had to wait in line for. She waited in line and has one. My brother-in-law has one, and I'm just like, no. Like, what's the big deal with these cups? I have a Hydro Flask, and it's cool. Like, I don't need a Stanley Cup. You know, now you got videos of dudes with the super triple OG original Stanley Cups, which that's cool. But I don't get what the big deal is. But anyways, now I guess somebody did a lead test. I'm not sure if y'all have seen that, but someone online. Hello? Yeah. Do what?
This white guy.
What about him? What, in the aisle?
Yeah. Joke.
Okay. Well, just leave him alone. Just continue on. If he messes with you, call me back and I'll fly over there.
You might need to come anyway.
All right. What is it? All right, babe.
No, you're fine. You're fine. I'm not. All right, love you.
All right, love you too.
Bye.
Bye. Oh, I don't know if y'all heard that, but duty calls. But anyways, before I go, I'm gonna finish this. There's a person online wanted to do a lead test, so they did lead tests with the Stanley Cups, or every cup that was as insulated, insulated cups from Hydro Flask, Yetis, Stanley Cups to dupes. You know what I mean? And come to find out, the only cup that tested positive for having lead was the Stanley Cup. You dirty rat. So, with that being said, you may want to buy your own lead tests, test them out, see what's going on, or you may not want to give a fuck. Everybody has one, so my recommendation: do one, try it out, see what's up. And last topic. Oh man, Vince McMahon. I'm not sure if y'all are aware who Vince McMahon is. Vince McMahon is the chairman, CEO of the WWE, World Wrestling Entertainment, formerly known as WWF, World Wrestling Federation. And he has resigned, stepped down as CEO chairman due to some allegations of sex trafficking, sexual assault from a former employee. Now, mind you, a few years ago, Vince McMahon stepped down as chairman, as CEO of WWE for some other allegations, similar to the ones he is currently accused of. I guess settled out of court, comes back. Now, as of recent, same thing. But the person accusing Mr. McMahon, as well as Mr. Laurinaitis, an associate former wrestler who also works at WWE, of sex trafficking and sexual abuse, sexual assault, is sorry, I lost my train of thought trying to think about going. But they are accusing Mr. McMahon and his associates of sex trafficking, sexual assault, as well as a slew of other charges. Now, these are more so coming out because of the text messages and the history between the said individual and Mr. McMahon. So she was let me pull her up. Let me find her name real quick, because she was a former employee out there in WWE land. And of course, hold on a second. Sorry about this. Should be prepared, but this is what happens sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so Vince McMahon, oh my God. This story is so crazy because the text messages are released for you to read, and they are so graphic that I don't know. It's kind of like wow. So Janelle Grant, a former WWE employee, filed a lawsuit on January 25th against Mr. McMahon and former WWE executive John Laurinaitis, claiming she was a victim of physical and emotional abuse, sexual assault, and trafficking at WWE. McMahon disputed the allegations, saying in a statement last week, "I stand by my prior statement that Ms. Grant's lawsuit is replete with lies, obscene made-up instances that never occurred, and is a vindictive distortion of the truth." So Mr. McMahon saying that is like, okay, this is all a lie. However, when she came out and she said, after all the incidences she's been through, Mr. McMahon made her sign an NDA and promised to pay her $3 million to settle, which she signed the NDA because, she's big wig, big corporate power. Of course she's going to sign, So she signs this NDA years ago. However, Mr. McMahon did not fulfill the $3 million payout, and only paid her $1 million, thus causing her to come out and resurface and file the lawsuit. That's the whole reason why this lawsuit is now coming out. And with some of the text messages that that she had put out, it's pretty crazy. I recommend that y'all look it up with this dude, because it's like some adult porn type stuff, like porno movie, crazy owner, sex slave type deal. Now, there are some texts where she's replying back and she's saying, yes, oh, I'm all about it. And there's also some where it's just one-sided, where it has Vince McMahon coming and it's just his part and passing her off and recommending this and saying what he's going to do, which is all nuts. All of it's nuts. But I recommend y'all look into it, check it out. And like I said on a couple episodes ago, when we were speaking about Puff Daddy, P. Diddy, if there's a pattern and there's people coming out saying this or accusing you of this, and you're like, no, it's not, and I'm settling, then most likely it's happening. So with Vince McMahon saying, oh, he denies it all, blah, 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 she's just reaching out. Is she really though? Because if she was, you wouldn't have stepped down. If this wasn't a pattern, if you weren't doing something similar to this, then you wouldn't have stepped down a couple years ago. Not saying you're guilty, but it doesn't look good when it's repeated and there's a repeat offense similar to what the current accusation is. You know what I'm saying? So I hope everything works out. I wish the best for everybody, of course. But you high power motherfuckers, man, y'all need to be careful, yo. Y'all need to stop flexing. Just because you have power and money doesn't mean you can do whatever you want to whomever you want, take advantage of whomever you want, manipulate and do whatever. Cut that shit out. You know what I'm saying? And with that being said, I got to cut this short because you all heard the phone call. I got to go save the day. That's a part of being the man of the house. So that being said, make sure you like, follow, subscribe on all podcast platforms, wherever you listen to this at. Follow on Instagram at YeahDat, and follow on TikTok at YeahDat. With that being said, until the next episode, it's on West Coast Rob signing out, and I'll let y'all know how this goes on the next episode. YeahDat.